Hello, welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm John Hartung, joined tonight by big game James Worthy, big shot Robert Ory. The Lakers lose their fourth consecutive game. It's their longest losing streak of the season. They fall under 500 at 16 and 17, giving up a season high 138 points, James. Bench points, three-pointers, in the paint, offensive rebounds. That was, I don't even know what to call that. What would you call
I do. A disaster is what it was. You know, it's raining outside. It's just nasty outside. This, Rob, I don't even have, too many words to describe how bad of shape the Lakers are in right now. I mean, we talk about not having everybody together, not having, protocol and all that, but they're just not playing hard basketball. San Antonio, they ran their offense to perfection. How many points off the bench, I forget?
69.
69 points off the bench.
Yeah.
To the Lakers, 20-something, 20, I don't know. So this team has yet to find any identity on either end of the court. Offensively, I didn't see one play set run with fluidity. I saw a lot of standing around, a lot of, I know they're without major players, but man, you got to be able to play hard, eliminate. We talked about points in the paint. They just couldn't do anything. San Antonio coached well, played hard, and when you play the game the way it's supposed to be played, you don't have to be that talented if the defense is not alert and giving you what they just look bad. That's all I can say.
We talked about this before the game. We talked about execution.
Yeah.
We talked about how well the Spurs execute. They've been doing that for years.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing Pop is going to have his Spurs do is execute. You might not have the talent,
Yep.
and you might lose some games, but you're going to run your plays to perfection. And if you watch the way the Spurs played, they did everything sharp, they did everything precise, and they didn't care who scored. They moved the basketball. We're going to get a good shot because we know we're going to make this defense collapse, and then we're going to kick it to the next guy. If you don't have the shot, you're going to kick it to the next guy that's going to have the shot. We talk about so many times about making the extra pass, making the defense move, because defense doesn't want to play over maybe 5 or 6 seconds nowadays. So that's what the Spurs did. And to see it live and to see how the Spurs ran their pick and roll compared to the Lakers pick and roll, which was pick and roll, pause, should I pop? Should I roll? Should I stand here? No, you got to be decisive what you're going to do in the pick and roll. You watch the Spurs, you either pop or you roll. It's no thinking about it. And that's what you have to do if you're the Lakers, especially when you down this many players. You got to really execute.
And we just saw the graphic right there. The Spurs hit 18 three-pointers tonight, James. This is the team that came into this game ranking second to last in the NBA in three-pointers made per game. They made 18 tonight and dominated really in every facet of this game, but especially from behind the arc.
Well, here's the thing. If you run your offense the way it's supposed to be run, you'll make the defense give you something. And I'm sure, I mean, Rob knows Popovich more than I do. Popovich came in here knowing exactly what the Lakers' weaknesses were, and he played to it. No, they did, and the Lakers played the lack of defense, the lack of, responsibility on that end of the court. You're going to become a pretty good three-point shooting team because you're confident. What your coach has told you, you see it happening in the game. The Lakers aren't that good. They don't defend. You might even hit some threes, and they did. They were very confident against the Lakers tonight.
The thing about the Lakers, they always have this guy. We can't even tell you who he is, where he comes from. He comes up. Like, Base Diop had 30 points, career high tonight. I'm like, I couldn't tell you where this guy came from. I know a good friend
St. Mary's, I think.
Ohio State.
That's the other guy.
Ohio State. But I was like, okay, but this is one of the things about guys. You don't let guys who you don't even know who they are, where they come from, you can't let them come out and beat you. You said you got to stop them. But the thing about the Murray, their #1 player, they held him in check. But it was the others who came out and just flat out balled out tonight. And you got to try to control that. I know it's hard to control every aspect of the game, but you don't let some guy like this and another guy get their career highs.
We talked a little bit about it on the pregame show as well, Rob, the fact that the Lakers had struggled to have any balance scoring. You look at the Spurs, they have 6 guys in double figures. The Lakers had LeBron with 36, then you have Russ with 30, only one other guy in double figures. They just didn't get enough contributions from the supporting cast.
Yeah, the supporting cast is very important. And I think a lot of times when you have dynamic players like Westbrook and LeBron, they have a tendency to say, okay, you know what? Get on my shoulders. I'm going to carry you. But you don't always need that. You got guys that can score. You got guys like Elton. Give me an open shot. You got Carmelo. Put me in the post. You got THE. Put me in the drive. There's certain guys you got to put them in a position to succeed. And so you don't always have to carry the load. I know right there in the third quarter, Westbrook did his thing. He was killing. But you got to have moments. You got to get everybody involved because down the stretch, and I say this, like, if guys don't shoot the ball, they have a tendency to not play well on the defensive end. And I hate to say that, but it's a lot of guys in this league, their whole game is predicated on if they get a shot, like James says, they get to touch the ball, that can control how they play on the defense. That's why I'm a big believer. I don't care if you miss a shot, get your shot. Let me see if you can make it knock down. If you don't shoot it, we don't know if it'll go in. So get your rhythm so that way you be engaged and you play better defense.
I agree, Rob. You know, when you've played basketball your whole life, and you see that the game is not being played the way it's supposed to be played. The Lakers depended on LeBron James and Russell Westbrook tonight. Too much isolation, too much ball dominant, not enough fluidity in the offense when you know you need other players. Now, we have some players out, but, you know, we didn't incorporate anybody else in this game. You know, Isaiah took some shots. You know, they were just throw-up shots. But as you can see, once again, there is no motion on the weak side at all. I mean, that is so easy to guard that. So I don't know why they haven't figured that out yet. The games that they have, they've had 29, 30 assists. But they're not going anywhere playing like this against a San Antonio team that may not be that good, but they play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And if you don't match that, they'll make you look bad.
Yeah.
And they did.
You know what San Antonio remind me of? They remind me of Princeton in college. Yeah. How they might not have the greatest talent, but they would execute you, backdoor you, do all the little things to beat you. And think about all the teams they have beat of late, all playoff teams. So they know how to beat teams when it comes time to it. But if they could just take that and apply it, man, they might be a 3 or 4 seed right now.
And there was so much excitement before the game about this being the final game at Staples Center. Rob, you were out there for the halftime. There was a nice celebration there. You have 6 championship trophies there on the court because 6 championships have been won by the Lakers at Staples Center. You were there for the very first one. And then this happens, that just weren't able to carry over any of the excitement to end the night the right way.
Yeah, it was one of those nights. It was almost like a mild celebration, you know, the ending of an era. The Staples Center is no more. And I look back and I think about the Spurs. The Spurs have been a thorn in the Lakers' side forever. I said it earlier. They ended the Lakers' run in the Forum with a loss. They beat them in the Forum. And now they ended the Lakers' run at Staples with another loss. Man, if I see Pop right now, I'm going to have to talk to him. But it's one of those things where you still got to execute no matter what you have on the court. And I know everybody says, okay, they got a lot of guys out because of the protocol. They got AD hurt. But still, though, execution can be done. Execution can be played. Defense can be played hard at all times. But, you know, I hate to see that the end of an era with the Staples Center is gone. I'm going to miss the Staples Center, but hopefully with the new Crypto.com, a new era was started. Think about it. We won a championship the first year at Staples. Hopefully the Lakers can still do a first championship in crypto.
A lot of homework, Rob. They got a lot of homework to do. Hopefully we can get everybody back and you know, have a team that can practice a couple times. But until they decide that, you know, they're going to defend on the defensive end, I don't care who they have offensively. The dynamic of having a trio